call opinion leaders. Now, yeah, most people know what opinion leaders are, influential. It depends on your race. You know, if you're running for, United States Congress, it might be, the heads of labor unions, the heads of teachers groups, people that are involved with the trial lawyers, good, Democratic groups that give money to Democrats, have spheres of influence over other people. If you're running, for a local seat, it could be, the head of the VFW Post. It might be the head of a social organization. But these are people that have a sphere of influence over other people. In every election, there are people, even in my neighborhood, in East Boston, Massachusetts, that come up to me and say, Spencer, who am I supposed to vote for? Because, those are the opinion leaders. And that's only 9%. Those are people that make up their mind, next, in an election. Then you got 15%, which is what we call the informed public. Now, the best way to describe the informed public are these are people that subscribe to newspapers on a daily basis, and they actually read them. Many people subscribe to newspapers. Most people don't read them. These are people that could tell you basically that some things more important than Britney Spears got put on lockdown last night. They can tell you this is what happened in Iraq. Not the details, but the big broad picture. And they can also tell you on the local level, well, we got a big zoning problem out here that we've been working on, for 6 months here in this town. That's what we call the informed public. That's about 15% of the electorate. They're what we call late breakers. They usually break a little bit later in the campaign because they usually try to be more informed about their decision. But still, only 15% of the electorate. I also put all the issue activists in there. Those people that are involved in this just because they're really concerned about the environment, or just because they're concerned about choice or right to life, or whatever their particular issue is, they usually fit in that informed public group because they are going to make their decision in kind of a little bit more calculated way, but it's still going to be a pretty emotional decision. Then you have this huge, huge, huge part of it, 75%. We call that the passive political audience. These are the people that swing every single election in the United States. Now, what studies tell us is these people think about government and politics together less than 1 minute a week. And that's usually not 1 minute at a time. It's 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, 5 seconds over here. And when you get closer to election time, and there's kind of a window because things, crescendo up, that changes to 7 to 14 minutes, a week. Now, these people are not bad people. They're not stupid people. These are good people. These are people that care enough, about our government, and care enough about our country to go out and participate in elections. But they're busy people, like we all are. They're paying their mortgages. Sometimes they're working 3 jobs. They're picking up their kids from soccer practice. They're doing the regular things that all of us do every day, so they're not focused on politics all the time. Now, one of the great things about America, no matter what anybody thinks, is we have a democracy that functions every day. Sometimes not that good, but it functions every day without us having to think about it. Wasn't that way in the old Soviet Union. Wasn't that way in many third world countries that I worked in politics. People have to think about the government. They don't have a choice. Because they can't eat, or they can't find something, or they can't get to a bureaucracy, or they can't make something happen. That's not the way our country operates. So people aren't really forced, to think, about politics. And so you're competing for a lot of attention a lot of time. They say that that every American is exposed to 30 to 60,000 messages a day. You are barraged with advertising and messages from the time you get up until the time you go to bed at night. On the radio, on the television, on the bus, in the billboard. They're printing stuff out there on the sand on Galveston Beach now. There is never a place that things aren't advertised. There's probably a dozen people in here today that have T-shirts that are advertised. I see the Mr. Holmes campaign is really, organized and branded over here, So you're going to get, these images in at you all the time. And that's why we talk about message. A lot of people don't understand what message is. But message is, a campaign is a short amount of time. A lot of people like to talk about branding. I hate when people use the term branding in politics. There is no such thing as branding in politics. Branding is something that happens with corporations, that takes over, years and years and years till people identify a product automatically. My sister works for Coca-Cola. You know, Coca-Cola is the largest, you know, recognized name brand in the world.